الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. As we gather these little reminders, just to keep ourselves abreast of what's taking place, to remind ourselves, number one, because we know the ayah, as Allah Ta'ala says in His book, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind, for verily a reminder benefits the believers. So, we are in desperate times, in urgent times, very difficult, no doubt. So we wanted to take this initiative or this opportunity to remind ourselves, to keep us on track, keep us on the right track in regards to what's incumbent upon all of us as a Muslim body everywhere, not specifically in Philadelphia, but the Salafis are one body no matter where they are, no matter what country, no nationality. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making these signs clear every day. It's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not an Asian thing. It's an affair that now is affecting everyone globally, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made these signs clear for everyone now to pull together. Yet you have no choice. If you don't do it, all of you will fall and all of you will inevitably be in a state of destruction. So on this Monday night reminder, which is now, I think the date is July 26, 2021. On this night, or this evening, of Tuesday rather, we're still in the blessed month of the Hijjah, rather it's the 16th, according to the Hijri calendar, which is the year 1442, after the migration of our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So we said that the topic was in regards to the rotten fruits of disobedience. The rotten fruits of disobedience. I also wanted to entitle this reminder, The End Result. So they come along, you'll find that they coincide with one another. The rotten fruits of disobedience, and what is the end result? And the result of disobedience. The affairs, Ya Ma'ashar al-Ikhwa wal-Akhawat, there's no doubt, we said, and I keep discussing this with so many brothers, that we're in times where we have no choice, where we have to be helping one another. And also people coming up with solutions. And if you're a person that wants to now cause the problem, or don't want to be a reason for its rectification, then I hate to say, move out the way. Because nobody has time for any more petty nonsense, petty argumentation, and I'm definitely not arguing with the people of deviance anymore. I'm not wasting my time with them. You're on what you're on. The people of deviation, from the Muslims who have deviated from the correct methodology, if they don't return back to the proper creed, there's no doubt that they will be in destruction. But as far as people that want to be petty, and they still want to live in affairs that's about what transpired in the past. Oh, something with the speaker. As far as in regards to the things of the past, people are trying to now come with solutions to problems. They're trying to bring solutions and they're trying to apply them. So if you want to come in order to now derive the people and take them away and distract them from certain affair or from this affair we were trying to actualize, then we kindly tell them to move out the way. If you don't want to do anything about it and you want to be a complainer and complain and complain and complain and complain and not be a reason for trying to rectify what's taking place all around us globally, then we kindly and generously ask you to move out the way. For now, like we said, the time has come where everyone has to work collectively and come with solutions to what's taking place around us and everywhere. Like we said, it's catastrophes on a social level, economical level. It's everywhere. If you want to say, natural disasters, but we know that it's a punishment from Allah. All these things are taking place, marriages, problems in marriages, domestically. It's chaos everywhere. Relationships, mental issues, mental health. People are barely hanging on to their sanity. People do not know how to resolve issues maturely. They always want to resort to raising their voice, interrupting. They don't know how to resolve issues or resolve problems maturely and in an amicable way. They don't know how to do it. Everything is resorting to saying the most hurtful thing you can say, or resorting to hollering, or resorting to violence, or to saying, resorting to vulgarities, obscenities. All these affairs are part of our problem. Everyone are very arrogant. Nobody gives any value to life anymore. We're dealing with issues pertaining to suicide. People are suicidal now. People are resorting to alcohol, drugs, Percocets. Our youth are dying left and right. There's no more future generation that will be left to carry the dawah. To carry. So this is a state of urgency. If the people don't recognize it, if people don't see it, then what will make you see it? And like we said, it's taking place everywhere. It's not just in Philadelphia. It's everywhere now. It's in Washington, D.C. It's in New York. It's in Illinois. It's in St. Louis. It's in California. It's in Houston. It's in Virginia. It's everywhere. Everywhere, everyone now are being tested. Allah Ta'ala has said in His book about the affairs pertaining to disobedience. Of course, everyone knows the ayah. And like we said, I'm not going to make it too long, quoting ayah after ayah, but will suffice. The volume is fine. I think we'll suffice with just a couple of mentions certain verses, and that's it. Due to the fact that we have to take into consideration people's attention spans, especially these days, are very short. Allah Ta'ala in His book speaks about this affair of disobedience, saying the reason or why societies are in the state that they're in, due to them rejecting revelation and disobeying Him and His messenger. There's too many ayahs to be mentioned, too many to be counted and enumerated. Allah Ta'ala says in His book, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون, as we know. He said that corruption has manifested in the earth, in the lands and the sea, due to what mankind has earned with their own hands, in order that we make them taste some of that which they did, in order for them to make proper repentance and return to the truth. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to take us for everything we do, then He wouldn't leave anything in the earth. There wouldn't be left anything in the earth, everything would be destroyed. So He makes us now be tested by some of what we have done and some of what we have earned. So we know that the reason for corruption is due to disobedience. It's clear. There is we have to look for the solution or the reasons for this because of natural causes or global warming. No, it's all because of disobedience to Allah and His messenger. Rejection of the truth and belligerence and arrogance. And mistreatment of those who are poor and impoverished. Mistreatment of them and taking advantage of them. And to the point where we know the affairs have become critical where soft. It's on. Where the affairs have become so critical, it is very destructive if you know that a people is destroyed, you know that their affairs reached a critical state when they kill one another and they mistreat one another, someone that looks like them. Everyone knows, of course, nobody's rejecting the affair of African Americans that have been oppressed. Nobody's rejecting that. Rather, African Americans, what's been done to them here in America was affairs that's so inhumane, I wouldn't even do it to my worst enemy of what they've done to these people and what they've done to this race. It is so inhumane and so destructive, you wouldn't even do it to your worst enemy. And they've set them up for generational failure. However, we still, like we talked about before, we do not combat falsehood with falsehood. Nor do we combat the call to the hellfire with another call to the hellfire. That is from our way. Because what's worse is what one person will abode eternally in the hereafter. That's all the affair. All the affair goes back to that. It's not about this temporary world. It's about where your soul will dwell eternally. So you can't come with these other falsehood type of calls, which is now combating one call to hell with another call to the hellfire. It's not going to work. And Allah Ta'ala has made that clear. Well, all these calls now are failing. From the nation of Islam, failed. Done. It failed the society, failed what? The communities. You see it. Where's the fruits of their labor now? Things are worse than ever. All the other calls of deviation failed. Sufis, Allah has humiliated their call. Done. The Ikhwanis failed. Those who like to resort to political ways and political methods. Done. Allah exposed it. Humiliated it. What's left? Allah Ta'ala is destroying and humiliating all these calls of falsehood. In order for one to now adopt and fully embrace and submit to the truth and to the methodology and to the correct call of the prophets and the messengers. So these affairs are what we're mentioning, Ya Ma'ashar al-Ikhwa, as we said. Today I would like to briefly remind myself and my brothers and sisters of the rotten fruits of disobedience in light of this ayah, which comes in Surah Al-A'raf, where Allah Ta'ala says in His book, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا فِي قَرْيَةٍ وَفِي قَرْيَةٍ مِّن نَّبِيٍّ إِلَّا أَخَذْنَا أَهْلَهَا بِالْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَضَّرَّعُونَ ثُمَّ بَدَّلْنَا مَكَانَ السَّيِّئَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ حَتَّى عَفَوْا وَقَالُوا قَدْ مَسَّ آبَاءَنَا الضَّرَّاءُ وَالسَّرَّاءُ فَأَخَذْنَاهُمْ بَغْتَةً وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in His book, we have not sent in the village from any prophet. He said that we took its people with bil-ba'sa wad-darra. We've taken them and we tested them with affairs within themselves, meaning in their bodies, with health and with wealth and with children, wad-darra, and disasters, catastrophes. We've tested them in all those ways. Now notice it says in the ayah, what's the reason? In order that they may humble themselves, submit themselves, make themselves subservient to what? To the commands of Allah and His Messenger. He said, when Allah then goes on to say, when they persisted upon their disobedience, not realizing that what's taking place around them will be an incentive for them to abandon what they're upon, then Allah Ta'ala switched it. When you now want to be persistent in your evil, in your corruption, now listen to that. ثُمَّ بَدَّلْنَا مَكَانَ السَّيِّئَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ. Then we exchanged the place of evil, where we started giving them abundantly good, even though they were upon disobedience. It says, حَتَّى عَفَوْا, where we started to give them what they enjoy of the worldly matters, the worldly affairs, in abundance, even though they were upon disobedience. And to the point where they said, oh, this is nothing more than what happened to our forefathers. It's just natural things that happen in life. Good times, bad times. It's not due to our sins. It's not due to our disobedience and our open displayment of it publicly. It's not because of that. He said, yeah, it's touched us, our forefathers, of darra wa sarra. Times of good and times of bad. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the last part of the ayah, we took them by surprise. and he didn't perceive what was coming. So these are the affairs of what we're speaking about. No doubt, as we all know, Iman can decrease and increase. Every Muslim has felt this and went through this. Even the speaker who you're speaking to right now is no better. And everyone knows that I try to be as real as I can so everyone can relate. To the point where I say myself has went through this. I've experienced this. All of us have witnessed and all of us have experienced and testified for themselves decreasement in Iman and increasement. However, what I want to mention, one of the deceptive things about decrease in Iman that a lot of people don't perceive is that when you're down, you can actually feel like you're up. You can actually feel like you're what? Like you're up. Person would say how? You can actually feel like you're on the top of the world when your Iman is weak. Based upon this ayah. And what happened with the people of disobedience? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though they were in a state of weakness, not only weakness, but them rejecting the truth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started giving them worldly things. He started giving them those affairs and giving it to them abundantly. You can feel like you're on top of the world. For example, one can feel, or we are at the top of our career. I've reached the peak, or the highest extent of my career, worldly. Making the most money that I've ever made, or we've ever made. For example, family now, I can finally travel. My bills paid, labels nice, car shining, harmony between wives, etc. Because the maintenance now is cool, I'm good. You figure, now I worked hard, I earned this. Okay, let's look deeper. As we said, based upon the ayah, also in the hadith of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, إذا رأيت عبدا يعطيه الله من الدنيا ما يحب على معاصيه فاعلم أنه استدراج. As we know the hadith. That if you see a servant that Allah gives him of the dunya, the things he finds delight in and pleasure in this world, of what he loves, upon the disobedience of Allah, know for sure Allah set him up for a trap. So what we're mentioning now, we have to ask ourselves, does your Islamic accomplishments match with your worldly gain? That's the question. Does your Islamic compliments match with your worldly gain? Since Allah has blessed you, has your sadaqah increased? Like I said last lecture, everyone last week, our pain is a cash cow for the non-Muslims, and we give it to them willingly. Like I said, are us dying left and right, dropping like flies? The funerals are now rich. The more y'all drop like flies on the street, the more that their money and their pockets are becoming fatter. Because they're millionaires now. The pharmaceutical companies are millionaires. None of these, like we said, facilities or none of these businesses, we own them at all. They knew that when that PP money and the PPR, all that money came, Saks Fifth Avenue was wrapped around the corner. And I'm not saying it's not nice to have nice things. Everybody knows Abdur Razzaq likes nice things. People know that. What I'm saying is, as far as balancing out in regards to the house of Allah, where we're trying to expand and do things for this youth now, because it takes sacrifice. First thing everyone did, Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, wrapped around the corner. Not taking that PP money or whatever, and now asking, what does the Masjid need? What y'all need to expand? So we can set up facilities for these kids. So we can know how to expand to open up recreational facilities. And start looking more ahead instead of looking for our own satisfaction, our personal gratification of ourselves. But that's our mentality. Everyone is getting fat, everyone is getting paid except us, while our pain feeds them. Our pain. What's that, outside or is that upstairs? What's downstairs? No, you can leave them. No, they're good, soon. They're good. They're good. Leave the kids. I'm just glad they're here. I'm just glad they're not on the street blasting them to killing themselves. So I'd rather prefer to allow no voices in the basement than them shooting each other's brains out on the street. I'll take that. But so what we say about these affairs, the pharmaceutical companies are millionaires off of our pain. The Lord Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, and as soon as all that money got distributed, everybody bought a car. Great, the best car their mind can ever imagine. Mercedes, BMWs to the end of it. It's clear. Well, all the dents outside of them, because a lot of them don't know how to drive, right? For all the affairs that we see, this is what the reality was. They bought car, they bought more guns, and they bought what? Fancy clothes to brag about and so-called floss on social media. Right, everyone? So these are the affairs of what we're speaking about. Since Allah has blessed you, has your sadaqah increased? Do you pray more? Because a lot of people, when they receive this money, the religion went weak, while they started bragging on social media about, I'm ready to get what? Ready to get lit now. Who wants to join me, right? So you feel like you're up, but your iman is what? Weak. Are you paying zakah? Are your children finally getting the best Islamic education they need? Did you take that money in order to now sit down with some of the people who are in the communities from the Masjid of Salafiyah and say, listen, we need to now look for the future and plan for these schools. All right, we have all this money floating around, time and sacrifice. We got to set up and look for the now, for the future. What's up and now for schools, for education? While we have the Prada, the Gucci, and the Hermes pocketbooks, our children are dropping like flies with no future. Yes, I know about Hermes pocketbooks. I know they start at $10,000, going up. They start at $10,000. I think that's the lowest value of them. And we will buy it. So that means there is money there. Am I right or wrong? I'm right. Instead of now coming to sit down with the elders, let's figure out, all right, let's look for the future generation, the education they need. These are the affairs we need to ask ourselves. And I'm going to get to the point where I said, what's the ending result? We're going to talk about that in a minute. It's coming. How are you giving thanks to Allah for this tiny piece of dunya? How? Ask yourself. Are you truly thanking Allah? Did you stand up every night in Ramadan? Ask yourself this question. Put the dunya to the side. All of us chase dunya all year round. There's a time in our life we need to give it a break. Like, listen, all right, I chase dunya every day. That's what we do all throughout the year. We chase dunya. Then Allah bestows His ni'mah where we reach the affairs such as Ramadan and the 10 days of the Hijjah, and we still chase after dunya. So when are we going to give it a break? So these are the affairs, like we said, we need to add up. A person, you can feel like you're riding, oh, I'm floating on the sky now. I got this, I have that. But you're not realizing that there's a sickness. Your iman is weak. Right, everyone? So are you truly thanking Allah? When you say thanking Allah, not saying it with your tongue. When you thank Allah, meaning you're fulfilling His obligations. That's how you thank Allah. Or are you too arrogant to sit and eat and pray with the Muslims? Because we know once Allah gives some people a certain dunya, their whole speech starts to change and they start speaking a certain way. And, oh, I just don't have time for those ghetto, filthy Muslims. Oh, to the end of it, right? That's how you start speaking now. Oh, now because Allah gave you a little dunya, it switches. Which clearly shows you're not used to anything. You think you are, but you're not. Not used to nothing. And those people who always think, like I said, from the Hizbis and from people, Muslims that Allah gives a little dunya to, and then you see they start changing how they speak. They try to now speak now in a certain way, like, oh, I just have no time for that filth down, that mess. Oh, those filthy, dirty people. Oh, yeah, don't you forget where you were at one time in one life? Did you forget that Allah bestowed His ni'mah on you? How quickly we forget those bounties that Allah gives us and brings us out predicaments, then to the point where we want to look down on people now. And then now, oh, you fat, you need to start working out. That's the other thing now we like to do, and look down upon people based upon their weight. When we know that this affair is not even manly. Men don't even care about another man's weight. I don't know where even they got that from. Another man's not looking at another man at all. Nor does he care about his weight and what size and how he looks. If my wife likes it, who are you to worry about it? And vice versa. Too busy to pray Tarawih to the end of Jumu'ah. To the end of Ramadan, excuse me. Children too good to the Masjid now. So this is the affair that we reach. So now you're up riding high on dunya while your religion is lacking. Are you missing Jumu'ah is the question. So just to sum it up, you say that this is the life of a boss. Exactly what we say. I'm living like a boss. I got surgery now and all this and the other affair, which alhamdulillah in certain instances, there's no problem, depending on the circumstance of the individual. But we're talking about affairs now that you think that your iman is high, but in actuality is what? It's low. But you think you're what? On top of the world right now. Brothers and sisters, if we don't wake up and see that the seeds that we are sowing will bring us rotten fruit, if we don't see that rotten fruit or the results of it, and due to the open obedience in society, our situation will only get worse. We say, or certain people say, or I call the shots, or you call your own shots, but can't make time for worship and good deeds. And sit with those who are less fortunate, as they say. And humble yourself. Because this is what the Messenger of Allah did. All you have to do is read the story of Ahl Sufra, of Abu Hurairah being from amongst them, and how they were deemed to be lowly people because they were in severe state of poverty. And the Messenger of Allah took a lot of time off of them. Read the story of Ahl Sufra in Tariq. Read it. How the Messenger of Allah did think, I'm from the best of lineage, which he was. The Messenger of Allah was from the best of lineages. He's from the lineage of prophets and messengers and the most intelligent and upright physically and mentally of people. He was the best, alayhi salatu wasalam, in every way. From background, from lineage. Why? Because Allah made it that way, so no one can now utilize that as a way to criticize his prophet of. So when it started, they knew his lineage is perfect. Pristine, clean. He was never known for fornication, never known for anything that they could utilize or capitalize to deny his prophethood. They couldn't use it. Nothing. And even though he had this high status, he used to sit with those who were deemed to be so-called in the eyes of the enemies of Islam, lowly. And he took time out with them and humbled himself with them. He went to their communities and their societies, sat from amongst them and taught them. Didn't think he was better. Don't you know, I'm Muhammad, I come from the best of lineage. No, he was a very humble individual, alayhi salatu wasalam. For those affairs, ya ma'ashir ikhwa, you call your own shots, but like we said, these are affairs that we said, we mentioned it, that we don't take time out to worship. During Ramadan, by fast, did we pray every night? Ask ourselves these questions. Even if it was something for 10, 15 minutes consistently. Like we said, it's all these things adding up with our worldly affairs. These are the things we have to ask. Sounds like more that we become slaves. Slaves of what? Slaves of our desires. And we're married, all of us are married. Married to what? Married to a world that has an expiration date. Not married to a world that eternally has no expiration date to it. That's what we're married to. We're married to a world that has an expiration date on it. Not married to the world that's eternal and what? Forever. That's the world we should be married to. So all this is what we consider rotten fruit due to disobedience. Look at our kids. We are at a time where we fear giving them too much Islam. I'm going to give you an example of that. And we feared being too harsh. Now look. Due to the imbalances that we gave to our kids, our young men have no desire to pray in the masjid. They have no desire to marry Muslim women now. We made the dunya look too good. We've glorified money, power, and celebrities. What's the result, everyone? Now here I comes with the question. What's the end result? This is the end result right here. The end result is this. Now our young men have no desire to pray in the masjid. They have no desire to marry our Muslim daughters. We made the dunya look too good. Openly bragging about our sins, have music videos, and brothers and sisters, don't try to deny it. You click on some of that counts, you have videos from rappers right on there. You know you do. You have to be called out on it. And then you wonder why the children don't respect you. And then when you tell them to practice Islam, they don't want to do it. Because hey, Mom, you got a so-and-so rap video right on your what? Right on your Instagram. Right there. And I've seen this and I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen it. I'm like, wow. Overhead of Baaz, the Club sister has a rap video blasting it right on the what? Right there. And then you wonder why we're in the situation we're in now. Man, there's so much going on. Our community is falling apart. Really? Do you think so? You really think? Why? Look at yourself. Look. Look at the public mockery that the Muslims make of themselves. It's not even Ahlul Bid'ah anymore. Ahlul Bid'ah, alhamdulillah, they left us alone, but alhamdulillah, no, they never come back. So our fitna now is amongst ourselves. We can't have any control. We openly brag about our sins. And then when Allah tests us, we like, what are we going to do? Really? When the answer's right in your face. It's right in your pocket. Go on your social media, turn it on. Pictures of yourself, makeup on, such and such, to the end of it. And I know about the so-called trap music and the drill music. I know about it. I know about the trap music and I know about the drill music. I know about it. For brothers and sisters, this is what I'm teaching. When you be a dad, you have to put your ear to the street to know what's going on so you can give the people the proper medicine. You have to. To know what's going on. So you can save these people's souls from eternal hell. So it's not about that I'm coming down with people because, oh, those archers beating us down again. No, I'm concerned about your soul and eternally where you're going to end up. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Eternally where your soul will dwell. That's my concern. These are the rotten fruits of disobedience, and this is the end result. This is the end result. We have no desire to marry Muslim women. Our youth now, they don't have no desire. They have no desire to not before responsibility. Why? Because we became overbearing, which we'll talk about in a minute. We made the dunya affair seeming and desirable to them. We glorified, like we said, money, power, and celebrities. What's the end result? Rotten fruits, due to our disobedience. We've let our children down, let our communities down. And now I'll get to the drug dealers. Remember the drug gang? Everyone in the hood had their own. We thought we were up, right? All of us thought we were up. Fast cars, fast money. Now, what's the end result? Look around you now. Clear. What's the end result, brothers and sisters? Look at you around you. Look at it. Look at it. Tomorrow we'll probably be doing janazah again this week for one of our youth. Fast money, right? Now look at us. What's the result? What's the end result? I'm asking the question. Our men are locked up or dead? Incarcerated or dead? Stop here for a second. Allah. It's crazy how these drug dealers, they say you involved the drug gang, but did you buy up the block? You didn't even buy up the block. This stuff is stupidity. You kill a whole bunch of people, then you move out the hood. Hey, this one up. What if you left? Except for destruction and more accountability on the day of resurrection if one doesn't make proper repentance and try to rectify that. Let's stop here for a second. Good, just leave him. Like I said, I'd rather have put up with that and them. I gotta bury him tomorrow. I'd rather put up with that first. So, like we mentioned, so all of us remember the drug game, right, everyone? Everybody in the hood had their own. We thought that, what do we think? We thought we were up, right, everyone? Fast cars, the money. Now look at us. What's the end result? Huh? Our men are locked up or dead. And if they're released, a lot of them, they go back because they didn't rectify their minds. And the only thing that rectified their mind before they were released was the religion. If they allowed the religion to truly penetrate them and penetrate their heart. Or else, if that wasn't the case, more than likely they went back. You know why they say you're going to come back? Because they know your mind's still messed up. That's why they say that. Mind is still twisted. The actual correctional facilities might have made it worse. They know that. Which is to let you know that the hudud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what is correct, and what they have is actually not causing any rectification. Rather, it makes it worse. But this is the end result of disobedience. This is the rotten fruits of it, of the drug game. Our men are locked up or dead. Until now, it trickled down to our youth now. See, it wasn't just for those who are in the game. See, now, when one door shaitan opens, another door is to follow that's worse. See, now trickle down to our youth now. Where they're now blowing their brains out every day now. And it's starting now to the point where it's reaching the ages of 13. 13. A 13-year-old, now a 20-year-old has an eye with a 13-year-old. Really? That's now what it's become. 20-year-old, I got an eye who's 13, I'm going to blast him, I'm going to kill him. Right? This is how it becomes. It started with this disobedience. It escalated to now it's trickling to where it's our youth now. That's the rotten fruit of disobedience. Disobeying Allah and His Messenger. This is the ultimate result. We lost control of our community, of the community. We made our families addicted to drugs and alcohol. What's the result, everyone? I ask the question. You see it around you. Now, what's the result from the deplorable, reprehensible consequences is this. No one around now to raise our youth. We left the young men to figure it out on their own now. Let them figure it out on their own. These young men who are killing people, these young men and women, now listen, these young men who are killing people were raised by frustrated, overworked, underpaid, domestically abused, underloved women. That's who raised these kids. I'll say it one more time. These young men who are killing, who are in pain, right? They were raised by frustrated, overworked, underpaid, domestically abused, underloved women. that we afflicted on them. What was then the result? Then the result is what you see now. The ending result is this. Some women either took their pain and passed it on to the child. See, you're going to be just like that N-I-G-A-G-A. You're going to be just like him. I can't even stand to look at you because you remind me of him. So the son hearing this in his mind, so what is he thinking? Dad, what'd I do? See, now you inflicted and passed that pain on. So now, what's the result? Time to wreak havoc on society. So that was one of the results. It was this one. Or it was the opposite. It was the opposite. Some women overspoiled. So they go from one extreme to another. So now what was the result? Now they overspoiled them. Didn't teach him any responsibilities. Just did everything for him. Forbearing. Now overbearing. Going to that extreme. So their sons become irresponsible. So they went to that extreme and that imbalance. So now they try to make up for what they didn't get. So you see the end result? It's either one extreme or another. So now this man who you raised being overbearing, right? He don't know how to conduct a society because you did everything for him now. He don't know how to be responsible. So when he get married, he can't have a now functional marriage because the woman gonna expect him to be a man. He can't, because the mom didn't do what you're supposed to do. By teaching him, listen, son, it's time for you to have responsibilities. This is part of being a man. Why? Look to the affair, the system, what happened due to what? It emanated from some pain that was afflicted by some man, right? That's where it stemmed from. So now you hear women say, I married this brother, he's like a grown kid. He don't know what to do. I married a man, I didn't marry a brother to be his mom. And I've heard brothers make the same complaints. Even me, you're looking at a brother right in front of you. I had a marriage one time. I married a little kid. What's wrong with this woman? She's like a little kid. I didn't marry you to be your father. That's a very, very uncomfortable feeling. My wife and I'm not your father. And I've heard brothers say this. It's like you marry some of these sisters. It's like they want you to be a father. They have father issues because their father wasn't there. So it's as if you're trying to raise your children along with another child. This is the ending result of the disobedience to Allah and His Messenger. Brothers and sisters, these are the ending results of disobedience of Allah and His Messenger. This is the result of fornication, adultery. These are the consequences. All this dysfunctional behavior and irresponsibilities that we see all goes back to disobedience to Allah and His Messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made all these affairs clear in His book, which let you know that clearly that the revelation that Allah sent down was what? Was the haqq. Because we see the result of all this stuff. We see it now. It's like, man, did we have to learn the hard way like this? Yes, we did. We had to fall on our faces to recognize that none of this stuff worked. Not the fornication, not the adultery, not the homosexuality, not the porn, and all the other filth. It's done none but brought the communities down to the ground. And I'll talk about the satanic music in a minute, because all music is satanic. That the Muslims put on their Instagrams, openly doing it. And it's not about, you just hating. All right, put the people to the side. I'm asking people who blast music on their accounts, do you believe that Allah made it haram or not? That's just a simple question. Did Allah and His Messenger make music haram? If you firmly believe that, then it should not be there. It's a simple question, simple answer. Leave the people of you who you think is jealous or the people who's hating, leave that to the side. Are you doing what is it right or is it wrong? Is it pleasing to Allah or displeasing to Allah? Simple question. Because I've always heard this too, this the other sickness. Oh, you hating, you just want to be me because you know you hate, you jealous because I got all these girlfriends. All right, leave that to the side. I'm just asking a simple question. Do you think what you're doing is pleasing to Allah? And if you say yes, okay, you ready to meet Allah on the day of resurrection with that? Go ahead. It's that simple. But however, brothers and sisters, these are the fruits of our labor. Like we said, these kids are killing each other because of frustrated, overworked, underpaid, domestically abused, or mentally abused, underloved women. And these were the results and the consequences of it, as we just mentioned. So guess what? So what happened? Fast forward. So forward past all the disobedience we've done, today we see violence and chaos. That's just to sum it up. So us men, we have to step it up. So guess what? We sat down and we talked to our young brothers and young men on the South Philly streets. People know that that's what I do now. I sit down because I'm getting inside the minds of the community. I don't just sit in the masjid and say, well, let them die. What are you going to do? No, brothers know that I'm going out and I'm now sitting down and listening. The problem is they don't respect us. Our young men are disappointed. Our young women are disappointed. They're let down. They're hurt. The people that were supposed to show them love disappointed them. Let them down. When they were little kids, they couldn't fend for themselves. We let them down. They're hurt. In these situations, we have to make it right. We have to apologize. We have to humble ourselves, say, I'm sorry. I let you down. As a father, as a mother, I let you down. I'm sorry. And you do it for Allah. It's not about pride and ego. It's about doing something right to make a start for rectification of society. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that clear. وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا. Don't spread corruption in the earth after its rectification. Part of rectifying it is apologizing. Apologize to who you disappointed and let down. Say, I'm sorry. That's the least you can do. I messed up. We have to apologize. We have to change our behavior. We can't just be Muslim in the masjid and go outside and be who. Or for example, we can't just be Muslim in the masjid and then go outside. I'm gonna be who I used to be. That's not the wrong way. Go outside and I'm gonna be Mr. Street Man now. Brothers and sisters, let that old street rep go. That street rep is just coals and hot hell for the hellfire. That's it. All of us are close to death. Prophet ﷺ said that the age of my ummah is between how? 60 to 70. And a little small portion of them will go beyond that. That's only about maybe 20 years away for some of us. 15 years. That's it. There's no more dunya left. It's over. So we are close to death now. All the fornication, all the adultery, all the bragging of the sins that we do publicly made broken families and hurt children and poverty. That's all it did. Everything that Allah and His Messenger warned us not to do, we did it. Now we see the results of it. It's clear. All of the cheating and the lying caused division between our women and communities. Are these not the rotten fruits of disobedience, brothers and sisters? All the listening to the trap music, all listening to all these affairs, all the listening to the music makes our children love it more than the Quran. All the poverty is from the sins. Children are not able to now celebrate their Eid, have fun as they deserve. Not be able to have fun, dress nice. No, what we have. What's the end result? Now we went to another extreme. We start to have parties for fun. Has created adults now that want to celebrate birthdays and overindulge in fashion. My point is, what I'm saying, everyone, is what's the end result? You see it. We must look at our mistakes and the mistakes of others and seek refuge in Allah from them, not to repeat them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the stories of those He destroyed in the past so we cannot do it, not indulge in it. They ain't not just stories, just Allah destroyed that society, and Allah destroyed that society, and Allah destroyed Ad, and Allah destroyed Thamud, and Allah destroyed that and that and that. Oh yeah, now let's go do it. Does it make any sense? Sisters, it's time for you to love yourself. Love yourself enough to the women that love yourself enough to be the women that Allah created you to be. You don't have to raise your husbands as if he's your sons. So I've heard this one too, and I've seen this other social ill. You take your husband on as if it's one of your sons. It doesn't make you weak now. We're not saying that's not what you think, oh, if I don't do this, then I'm going to be a weak person. No. You're supposed to marry a responsible man. That's what's so ideal, and that's what's the reality. But that doesn't make you now lower yourself to now say, I want to be lonely, I'm scared, so I'll be willing to take in this irresponsible man and raise him like my son. These are all the imbalances of what's going on in these communities and societies and relationships out here. Rather, it's not from the religion to overextend yourself and to now look foolish in the end. You must cultivate and raise your children, not a grown person. Same thing with us men. You see these behaviors in a sister, you're going to have to now get her some help. Like, sister, I can't be your father. Your father's your father. That's it. You have to rectify between that and your father if you can find her. And I have to say that. If you can find her. But it's very frustrating that you'll marry a sister and then you got to treat her as if she's your daughter. It's very frustrating. And it's an awkward feeling. Very, very awkward feeling. I'd be with a woman, touch a woman as long as she's like a child I got to raise. Who wants to feel that way? It feels disgusting. Even after divorce, when the father has the kids, and I'm going to say this too, stop being fitna with the stepmoms. I'm talking about women that got divorced, the man marries another man, so now she's going to be a fitna in that household with the children. When the new husband moved on with another wife, your children might have to be under her care. You cause all this fitna, this either direct or indirect fitna, and make it hard for them to what? Cultivate. And ultimately who you're hurting is your own children, because you're causing instability under that household where they have to be raised. So you're now messing up more children. See, when you're being evil, you don't perceive who you're destroying in the process. You're destroying in the process as kids. When you're trying to break, I just can't stand, I'm going to make them feel it. Not realizing that's causing instability that trickles down and affects the children. Why can't you just work as a team? What's the problem? I don't understand people. People love being evil because of how I feel. No, bend your feelings according to what the law and His messenger said. It's clear. Work as a team. We're all supposed to be one body, right? We all say we're Aqidah Salafiyah, right? Be a family and raise them together. Who knows, if you do good, Allah might soften your heart and your mother, maybe your ex-husband's heart, and y'all might get remarried. Who knows? And the other wife might like you. Let's all be a family together. Let's work as a team. What's the problem? What's wrong with us? And then we raise another generation for failure, for society, with a bunch of children that got a bunch of issues. Setting them up for failure. Stop being a fitna with the stepmoms. Join forces and give these children a strong Islam and lots of love. Because that's what these kids want. They want lots of love. That's the reason why they're killing each other in the streets, because they weren't given love. They're hurting. They're in pain. My homies is the only one that showed me love. My own adults didn't show it to me. So that's the reason why they're doing what they're doing. They're in pain. Stop making your daughters bitter based off your experiences and your bitter, sour relationships. Stop doing that. And stop telling these daughters about your personal business. That's another thing a lot of hurt sisters do out here. Oh, you know that man I was married to was such and such, and he did this to me, and he did this to me, and did this to me. And then the daughters are sitting there listening like, for real, mom? Dad, for real? For real? For real? Then they go up. You know what happens? They hate men. Or they're dysfunctional with a man, or you know what the worst of it? They become lesbians. Let's say what it is. Because they hate men now. Because they heard it from who? Their mom. Sisters, again, your daughters are bitter based off of these experiences. So, sisters, do you comprehend the power of sincere dua for your child? Do you know, do women realize the power they have to dua for their kids? It's a strong dua of the mother. And Imam Bukhari, they say, was blind. His mom made dua for him, his sight came back. Do y'all know that story? Yes, Imam Bukhari was blind. Sahih Bukhari, the most authentic book after the book of Allah in regards to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, was blind. His mom made dua for him. Allah returned the sight back to the son. We must all begin to the true implementation of Islam. We have taken accountability on. We have taken accountability on words. However, let's start taking action. The angels are constantly writing and writing and writing. Don't forget that, everyone. Let's overturn these rotten fruits. Let's now fertilize our soil. Let's beg Allah to be with the other to rectify our affairs together. That's the reason why I keep saying all hands on deck. Everyone. And if you're going to now complain and deter us from what we're trying to do to save people's souls, not to save their lives, save their souls, move out the way. Let's do our work. I'm tired of the men acting like women. I'm sick of it. If you come to me with nonsense, move out the way. You come with me about what happened, such and such deviant master with Ikhwan, I don't even care about what the Ikhwanis are doing. Their dawah is failed. It's done. I don't care what the Habashis are doing. I don't care I don't care what they're doing. I'm not even looking at it. Because it's all going to fail at the end of the day. Because they're upon deviation, and that makes the law angry. I'm concerned about what's going on in our circle. Because if the Salafis and the people of Tawheed don't alleviate what's between them, then there's nothing left for society. No one else can rectify society more, or absolutely in all cases, after Allah, except the people of Tawheed and Sunnah. Once the people of the Tawheed Sunnah is gone, is the day of resurrection is going to be established. Because there's no reason for why the earth, this existence remains anymore. So let's rectify our affairs together. Let's unite upon the truth. Keep the activities rolling in the Masjid, because there's a lot of positive things that's been happening left and right in this Masjid. Alhamdulillah. Every day there's something going on here. Every single day. Keep the activities rolling in the Masjid. Let's all be motivated. Let's all take the pressure off of one another. As much as we can with the most simplest things. And brothers, and this is also something I've learned. Majority of our women, all they want is small certain things that will keep them happy, riding on the top of the world. All you have to do is ask. Women want simple things to let you know that you're thinking about them, and you can make them very happy by simple things. And that will take a lot of pressure off of them. And the same thing with the sisters, with the brothers. Sisters also, take in consideration who your husband is. The reality is how America perceives him as an African American here. So there is a lot of pressure on him. They expect him to fail. They expect him to either be dead or incarcerated, or to be a creep. You like to touch little kids, or they expect him to be, or expect him to be gay. That's the new thing now. It's a lot of pressure. The opportunities that the foreigners were given were not given to African Americans here. It's clear. Because a lot of people always say that. Why is every time the foreigners come here, they get all these businesses on the stores? There's Chinese stores and the stores on across the street. That's because America gives foreigners certain advantages and privileges over people who are originally from here. And from them is African Americans. They don't get those privileges at all. That's the reason why you see a lot of them struggle to get businesses open. There's a lot of pressure on them. I'm not saying that to blame now, to now resort to violence or resort to being dysfunctional. Because we're not going to be like what they say, it's indoctrinated program. And I keep asking people, okay, if the white man so-called programs you to be a savage, you're going to go along with the programming? Does that make any sense? You're a robot? So don't use that, come with that nonsense anymore about the white man. The white man. Listen, white man tell you to lift that gun up and point it at his brain and shoot him out at the end of the day. It was indoctrinated, okay, of course, but we have to take the blame. We got to take a lot of stuff from the chin. So let's unite upon the truth. Keep the activities rolling in the Masjid. There's a lot of positivity. Let's respect, impart, and help one another. The time is now, everyone. There's no more choice. There's no choice. There's no I don't care. So if you don't care, just move out the way. That's it. That's all I say. If you don't care, move out the way. Well, I don't care, I'm just in my own world, just doing my thing. Okay, if you don't care, fine, move out the way. Worship Allah, move out the way. We'll stop here. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Subhanaka wa bihamdik. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك